what happens to the vows, for better, for worse, till death do us part, right?
Yeah.
When you were saying them at that particular moment, did you know what you were saying?
Oh, yeah, for me, like those words were very serious, and like I took them to heart. And maybe that's even what haunts me, or rather haunted me later, because I was like, yeah, I made a vow. Like I was like, for better or for worse, and all these things. But then again, as I said, life teaches you that you think one way, but then life takes you to another direction that you did not expect. I've had times like you used me and all those kind of things, you lied to me, but in all honesty, at that point in time, you really feel like you're ready to
Be with someone.
because it's like 6 months later and you're like, yeah, I've healed. And so, yeah, you start talking to people, and then eventually during that moment when you're together, the emotions come back from your past relationship, and then you remember how broken you are, and you're like, there's no way I'm going back into this like, right now. Honestly, I had no business getting married at that time. And I'm not regretting it, because I think everything happens for a purpose, and I wouldn't be here right now, even with you, if that whole thing didn't happen. But honestly, I feel like that's the time you really like need to build yourself as a man.
A very good morning to you, and a warm welcome to LNS Rebuilding Restoration Series. My name is Lynn Ngugi. I know majority of you know my guest today. He's artistic. He is very outspoken lately. I was just checking his TikTok and I was like, is this Victor? When did we become these people who are actually ready to have such vulnerable conversations? And I know, guys, when he talks about his story and a couple of lessons that we are going to learn from him, it will leave you inspired. And sometimes they say you gotta walk through the journey so that you are able to be the one sitting and giving people advice. Alafu unajua kuna kuanga na people who you just want to talk about something but you have no experience about it. So when I find someone who has walked the journey, I always know these people are bound to leave us with a couple of notes. And you know what we do here? We pick our pens, we pick our notebooks so that we don't get to miss out anything our guest says today. And obviously I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say at the end of this episode on the comment section. So I'm about to let him introduce himself, but before I do that, you know, a girl has to pay a couple of bills here. I want to say thank you so much to our official partners of today's conversation, Maridadi Motors, for always coming through. I've said it on the show more than enough times, guys. If you want to get yourself a beautiful car, talk to our people at Maridadi Motors. They go now, they are saying they are the home of great SUVs. I'm very proud of you, Sir Eric, and the team for what you are doing in this industry. So guys, go get your car with them, invest in their circle. They have a driving school, a car wash. Sparkling is taking over. I'm really happy about Sparkling. So take your car duvets and carpets there. And of course, to say thank you so much also to our people at Kings Developers Limited. Yeah, a very ISO certified real estate company that gives you very beautiful apartments. Check them out. You can walk to their magnificent building also in Prism Towers and tell them Lynn has sent us. What couple of apartments do you have? And they have flexible payment plans, so msishtuke. And of course, guys, we are heading to 1 million subscribers. This one humbles me. I won't lie. I will not lie. This one really humbles me. So I appreciate you for taking your time and watching and sharing this content. I do not take you guys for granted. You've been active participants of our work, so shukran sana. And also the team that gets to put this work together, Scholar Muga, Edwin is here also. So Edwin, asante for making sure we get to shoot this episode right on time, and the entire team at LNN. Najua nimeongea sana, so now without further ado, please allow me to let my guest today introduce himself. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very good.
Hapa tunakuanga psyched.
I'm actually in shock that you said all those things without breaking. Wow.
No, why?
Wow. 10 takes in between. Cancel your starting.
Tuanze tena. But you know Black on Black?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
You know that song by Nyashinsky and Naiboy, Black on Black?
Yeah.
You know it?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling that vibe. It's like black and black.
Yeah, we talked.
Yes, we
Let's
talked.
not pretend. Say, texted you in the morning. I was like, unava.
Lynn, what you pulling? Yes, Lynn, unava nini? But no, you see, it's a coincidence,
know, right?
you know, which is really beautiful. But happy to have you on
Thank you
the
for having
show.
me here.
Yes, for the people who are just, you know, getting to see you for the very first time, could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Victor, Victor Karanja or Victor Peace on social media. I'm a content creator, a tech manager, and recently I've acquired a new title, dancer.
It's moving. It's me on Doko now.
Yeah, hey.
For you right now. First things first, you know, you exude very beautiful energy. I
Thank you
always
so
say
much.
energy does not lie. I don't know if you vibrate the same way I do. I don't know if it's a bad thing or if it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You see someone and you just vibrate
Yeah, you
towards
vibe.
them, which for me is just for me that's God saying you are safe with this person.
Yeah.
You are safe to be around this person.
I feel the
You
same way.
exude very beautiful energy. So
Thank you.
yes.
You too.
I hope so. I hope so. But how are you feeling today?
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here in the show.
Yes.
I've been watching it for so long.
Yeah.
And all the interesting stories.
Yes.
Shout out to Mama Olive.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one I watched. That's a long time ago.
Man,
My God.
you have a lot to catch up.
I need to sit down and watch. But
Yeah.
but I love the show and I love the stories you bring.
Yeah.
So immediately you told me to come do this. I was like, yeah, maybe actually let me come
Yes.
and share my story as well.
It's an honor to have this conversation. But before we get even deeper to the show, I've always been interested to know, where does the name Peace come from?
Okay, there's no like deep meaning. It's because I think in primary school, I noticed everyone had 3 names and only had 2, Victor Karanja.
Yeah.
So it used to bug me. So when I was doing my KCPE, I asked my mom, how come everyone has 3 names and I only have 2? So she was like, Endo andike Peace.
Oh.
And I just wrote Peace, and then from then on, now it's stuck. So it's in certificate and all those things.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you are legally Victor Peace Karanja.
to some extent.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to swear an affidavit. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love your mom. I was just watching an interview you guys had done together on your channel. You know, you were talking about some of the things that, you know, you are proud.
Yeah.
You were having a very deep conversation with each other, and I realized you really do love your mom.
Yeah.
What is it about your mom?
I think it's because we've been, like, before she got married, which was like way later, it was just the 2 of us for the longest time. So growing up with just her, seeing her like working hard and like because she's also an only child, and we were at such a disadvantage when we started, and seeing her working so hard to where she is right now, it really inspired me. So I really hold her to high regard. Yeah.
How does she feel about you right now? Because there was a point she almost got emotional. I think your proud moments are also her most proud moments. You going to uni, her thinking you will never even go to uni, but manifesting it when you are at such a young age. How does she feel about you and your growth?
I'm hoping she's proud. I know I've given her some heart attack moments.
Yes.
Many of them are from piercing ears to see what. But but eventually I think we're at a point where I think most parent-child relationships, when they reach this particular age, like when you're 30 and everything, you become friends. So I can tell she's proud, and sometimes it's a lot of pressure because you're like, I'm the one who's supposed to redeem us now. But I think she's proud, and our connection is getting, like, we're getting better at it than before.
Okay. It's getting deeper. Yeah, she's an amazing woman.
I
can't
love her.
help. Yeah, she is, guys. Like, honestly, if you guys, you're wondering what video I'm talking about, I'm gonna pin it so that you get to see how they interact in such a beautiful manner. So do say hi to her when you go back. But lately, you've been very outspoken about having gotten married at a younger stage. And were you expecting, when you came out and, you know, spoke about some of these things on TikTok, you would get such feedback from other people who resonated with what you said?
No, actually, it was wild because I didn't think that, like, that's the kind of reaction it would get. Because for me, TikTok is a fun space. So most times if I post videos, I don't expect anything from them.
Yeah.
But then when I did that, I was like, wait, what? Like all these comments and all this interaction. So I was like, So there's definitely, and even reading the comments, I saw there was a lot of curiosity around like what is the process. And then I saw a lot of people resonating who have gone through the same thing, but they can't talk about it. And there's no one who's talking about it. So it felt like a place where you can find solace in that conversation.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you have to, like, were you doubting yourself before you put it out there? Because number one, your wedding was very public. People actually have followed your journey. When it came in your past marriage, you were very, online about it, and people were following your journey. Did you doubt yourself before you put it out there? And were you scared? What if this actually backfires?
No, I think I'm always scared. Yeah, so most times when I post content, I just throw my phone away and I go do other things. I'm like, I don't want to see. Then I come back and then I check and I'm like, okay. Yeah,
Not bad.
But yeah, there's definitely that nervous moment, but especially for such a touchy topic, I had to be very wise about how I presented it. So yeah. There's definitely moments of anxiety when I put it out.
Yeah, I want to sit back because this is the time I let you take ownership of your story.
Okay.
But the theme of our show is dubbed rebuilding or restoration. What areas of your life are you rebuilding, and what is being restored in your life also?
I think generally everything, like all areas, like from food to health to everything. Yeah. So I feel like before I was doing something totally different. So from 2020 going backwards, I was a photographer. I had even stopped photography, I think 2 years before that. But I was really trying to find my footing in life because I started doing things when I was really young and then experimented on a lot of things. But then by the time I was getting there, a lot of things were going down. Because everything has a season. So I think the season was over for those things.
Yeah.
So now it became a journey of trying to rediscover who I am and what do I enjoy and what else can I do. So it's generally everything. So from health to mental health to to clothes to to relationships with my friends, my family. So it's generally like it's a full 360 rebuilding and trying to reinvent myself. Yeah.
All right. So take us through your story because I think what people resonated with was you getting married at such a younger age. And I feel like a lot of people are also in that season. So could you walk us through that, the lessons and what you wish you knew before you got into marriage?
Okay. It was one bright morning, the birds were chirping. Composition, why? 10 I'll cut 20 over
40 out
40
of
over
40.
40.
Yes.
But seriously, on a serious note, so as I mentioned, like I grew up as an only child up until class 8 there. And for me, it was just me and my mom. My dad at that point had bailed out. Actually, I think I saw him like twice. And every time he came, he was very like super toxic. I can remember those 2 occasions during that time. So for me, I think I grew up thinking I want to get married. I want to grow up, get married, do it right, have a family, and like correct everything that had happened before in my life. So I was a very eager child. So even like school, I remember my mom always gives this story if you ever meet her. She's like, the first day I took you to nursery, you didn't even look back while all the kids were crying for their parents. I turned back and I didn't see you. You'd already left, So I was always a very eager child, eager to do life. And I think that's the same thing that now happened. So immediately after high school, after uni, I'd already started working in 3rd year. So by the time I was getting to 22, over there, around that age, I was doing photography at that time. There were very few photographers, and so it was very easy to like break into the market and make money out of it. The rates were way better than now.
Yeah.
So I'd already built a name during that time and I was getting a lot of clients. So by the time I was getting to 22, I felt like I was ready now to make the next move. Yeah. But I wasn't dating anyone at that time. At that point now is when I met my, what do you call it?
Your
ex-partner.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember I was completely blown away. And one thing about me is if I want something, okay, maybe before, not now,
Yes.
I will follow it like ridiculously, like you won't stop me. Yeah. So like if I purpose to get something,
I'm gonna get it.
I'll work hard until I get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I did, and eventually ended up getting married at I think 24, 25. Yeah. Which was ridiculous now that I think about it, because I have cousins who are like 24, 25, and I'm like, you getting married? No,
right
no
now.
way.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I quickly took up the role of husband at that age. And even Ash was young as well. So we were two people who were really young, naive, didn't know what life really had in store in terms of that kind of structure. And yeah, like we were just winging it, honestly. Yeah, so I think at that time there were so many things that were happening. So immediately I got married because I'd gotten a job so that I can be able to find, because I wasn't working for anyone before. So I had to get employed so that I can find money to do rural shows and all these things. So I had my first job, but immediately after getting married, I lost the job. Like literally, so December got married in December, January
You lost a job.
lost a job. Yeah, so I think it was just a constant, like for me, it was just constantly trying to get into this husband role that you've been told.
Of
Because
provision.
yeah, so you're supposed to be a provider, a protector, a leader, and all these things. And I'm like, I'm just a baby.
Yes.
I'm just a baby. But so there was a lot of pressure in that sense, and maybe to some extent on my end, and I think every time I give my story, I give it from my perspective because I can't talk on
which I
her
actually
behalf.
respect.
Yeah. So I think from my end at that point, I was not conscious of what was happening in the marriage. Like I wasn't really trying to digest and see the cracks or anything that was happening. I was really focused on how can I make ends meet for
My family.
my family. Yeah. And because there's pressure also from other people, the extended family, because you're young. So they're like, what business did you have getting married that young? So I had to prove myself that
I can do this.
I can actually do this. Yeah. So I was very distracted. And then, so over a couple of years is when, so everything solidified and we both like got into careers. And that's when for the first time on my end, I stood and I was like, I can breathe now. Let me see what's happening. And that's when I noticed, oh no, yeah, this thing is so broken. And yeah, like we are very like far from each other. So the one big thing that we really had was friendship. And even up until now, that has fostered mutual respect. And in that kind of sense, and we were really good friends. So that's one thing we had really worked on. But I think anything else other than that, it was very distant. And that's when now we had the conversations and then eventually tried therapy and all these things. And then, yeah, so we came to the realization that, yeah, this thing is gone and we're still young. So you have a chance to go do life and rediscover yourself and maybe find whatever you want or what is suitable for you. And yeah, so we came to a mutual understanding and we called it quits. Yeah.
How you say, you sat and you had a conversation, and I always feel like that's actually the easiest thing to do, because we're gonna have conversations because we are friends, but later on, after a year or maybe a couple of months, the withdrawals, they start coming in because we're gonna have a conversation. I want the best for you, you want the best for me, but what happens now after the exit? There's always that part. I remember after my first heartbreak, there was that nudge in me to show the person that I was in a relationship with, I can do good by myself. Hallelujah. I can do, not, I'm not gonna say bad, I can do good, I'm still strong, I can survive, but deep down you are empty. You are so empty because there are moments you miss. Your life was actually around this person. So how do you process that?
I don't know. Yeah, like I'll say I wouldn't even lie. So the first year, that was purely what it was about. Yeah. I was like, I need to validate myself. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to get out here. I'm going to be better. I'm going to go to the gym, body goals.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll go out here, I'll even go out, I'll club, I'll like add a list of all the crazy things I wanted to do that year. And trust me, for sure, like I went through with it. So, but by the time it was like around 6 or 7 months into doing all those things, I remember like, because I normally have moments of reflection, I try to do that a lot because I'm introverted by nature. So most times I find myself alone. So in those moments, like you can't escape your thoughts. Yeah. So I remember having like thoughts of, and so why are you doing all these things? Like, who is it for? Yeah. And then you just quickly discover that it doesn't even matter to you or even to that person or to everyone else that you're trying to show all these things. It doesn't really matter. And yeah, so now I was like, you know what? Now from now on, I'm going to do things for myself. Yeah, because I think I grew up doing a lot of things to please people. So for example, like one of my biggest like people that I wanted to please was my mom. So I'd do things, even spirituality or whatever, everything was centered around making her proud. And then now came the marriage. I wanted to do all these things just to fit this particular role. So now for the first time I was like, let me do things for myself now and not for anyone else. Yeah, but I'll tell you for a fact, like the first year you're trying to think about how you're going to look better than the other person, how you're going to show people that you're doing way better than the other person.
Yeah. By the way, have you noticed when people break up, some go for body goals? You've never had this statement, you even look beautiful after a breakup. I feel like outside you are, but inside you're crashing. Inside you know, I stopped wearing mascara. I was telling me I was out to prove. So I remember this moment. I was working in Tuko back then, and I remember our stage used to be at Westlands because I was living in Gumba. So Gumba to Westland, to Ngara, Ngara to Westlands. So, you know, you gotta wait for a super metro at Ngara. And that's why I stopped wearing mascara. I attempted it the other day, but then I was like, I don't want. So, you know, I was looking so pretty because again, I want to show you, even when I post photos, I want you to see I'm killing it. Me, I'm not broken. I'm killing it. So I'm at Ngara. I put my, because my mascara and whatever, I'm looking nice. I'm waiting for the bus to fill. And then a thought just came. I could not stop crying between Ngara and Westlands. So by the time I'm entering the office, I don't want anyone to see me. I want to go straight to the washroom. And then, you know, I don't have soap in my bag. So I want to use the one you do. Like,
the dispenser one.
Yes, then I had to, because mascara is everywhere. And then the guy I was sitting with next to the bus, I think was mzee, who alikuwa ametoka soko na ngunia zake. So ananiangalia. And then I'm like, oh my God, you know, there's always that. Anyway, the thing is, there's always, you want to prove to people you're doing good, you lose weight, you even enroll in a gym. But honestly, you're just so broken inside.
I remember I started boxing. I did so many things that year. But also I had such a similar moment where I think I was in either a banking hall or I don't know where I was in public. So like I woke up feeling really good. I even went to the banking hall, I even sat down. I was on my phone waiting to be called in line. And then out of nowhere, this like wave of emotion, like I just broke down. And I had sunglasses, thank God. I didn't have mascara.
Oh, wow. It was serious.
So I remember I just stood up and ran out. I was like, hey. No one will see this. Toxic masculinity. I was like, hey, hakuna kitu kayo. Silimbele out. But I remember like, and it has happened many times. And that's when now I realized like it's not a linear journey. Healing is not linear because you think in your mind at that point, you're like, especially when you guys separate and leave the house and everything. At that moment, I think that was the most breaking part of it. Like seeing this person you spent all these years with.
You were together for how many years?
7 years. We were married for 4, but we were together, like we lived together for 7 years. And like seeing this person that you really knew to such extent that no one would ever understand, leaving the house and will not be a part of you anymore. She's not leaving to go to the supermarket or going to Situationships or to her mom's, and then she'll come back after 3 days. no, she's now leaving. And I think that was the biggest breaking point. But then immediately after you get over that, you think that, now things will start working out. But you realize healing is very non-linear.
Yeah.
So sometimes you feel really good. And then 6 months later, you think you're over and done. It just hits you again. Yeah, so
See, poor.
it's crazy.
It's crazy. And also, you have things that remind you of them around.
Yeah.
And you also have to keep stalking them to see what progress they are also making.
Actually, no, I don't do that.
But I know you did it before.
No,
After the breakup, you didn't?
No.
For real?
Yeah.
Me, I did.
I'm sorry. You had to cause him.
I did it, I think, for 2 weeks, and then I was like, yes. See, serious, like, for real? You don't go to check how they are progressing?
Even up until now,
Yeah.
so because we are friends and we're not enemies. So what I did was, okay, maybe now she'll know.
You're on the yellow couch.
I just muted. Yeah. So I don't see anything. Like my self-preservation capabilities are very high.
Yeah.
So anything that I know will harm me, trust me, like I'll put it 10 miles away from me. So I don't check. I'm not curious. I don't do all those things. Actually, most times when I get information, it's either through friends or through the people in my community on Instagram. So they'll either share something if something has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't stalk. I can't.
And you are not anticipating when your paths cross on the streets.
Although it has, like,
kwa supermarket. No, those early days, like, mjipate kwa me, I remember when I heard he had come back to Kenya to, like, look, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Yani, I'm like you also. Whatever I know
will hurt you,
I'm okay. Apart from the 2 weeks of checking how you are progressing, and then I just come. I actually completely, I don't know if it's a healthy habit. I completely block it.
Yeah.
Like from my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a healthy habit.
I don't know also.
Yes. You are not scared you will like bump into each other.
No, not really. As I say, like I spend most of my life in the house. So I'm so sure like I won't see you anywhere here. But I've been called an avoidant, and I think maybe that's what helped, because I do not, like, I will avoid any situation that will cause harm to me. So but eventually, like, we met a couple of times at events or like these other things.
Yeah.
And so every time like that would happen, when I go back home, like it will be crazy, because I'd go like I'd have made 10 steps forward, now I'd make like 50 steps back.
Yes.
Because you see the person and you're like, oh God. Yeah. But it gets better with time.
No, I think time, when whoever said time heals all wounds, they were so right. It gets better. My partner actually keeps telling me that, things get better in time, no matter what happens.
Yeah,
things
that's
get
true.
better.
Yeah. Because year one definitely
not so good.
Cannot be compared to year 2, and now year 3 is totally different. Yeah.
So now you are in year?
This is year 3 now.
Hey, now we're in the big 3. Way. Let's talk about situationships, because see,
God.
Hey, yes, God. So of course they've left. You guys, you are sure you are never getting back together. But then, of course, being a human being created with feelings and emotions, you are obviously going to attract or be attracted to someone else. How is that process like?
Like one thing, I didn't even know that thing existed, like that term, situationships. In my mind, it was always like boyfriend, girlfriend, dating.
Wife, husband,
and then there's like that kalingering, what was it called? Difference with benefits thing. Yeah, so those are the compartments in my head. So at that time, I remember coming out immediately during my crazy period where I was trying to prove myself. Of course, when you put out this kind of energy, like, you will definitely attract
that energy.
Someone, because you're showing progression. And people love progression and seeing someone who's moving, as opposed to if I came out and I was like so sad and I was just staying in the house depressed and sulking, like, you wouldn't attract anyone in that state. So of course you meet people and people you like and you think you're ready. And there are moments where, and because I know like eventually people say, I've had terms like you used me and all those kind of things, you lied to me, but in all honesty, at that point in time, you really feel like you're ready to
Be with someone.
be with someone, because it's like 6 months later and you're like, yeah, I've healed. And so yeah, you start talking to people, and then eventually during that moment when you're together, the emotions come back from your past relationship, and then you remember how broken you are, and you're like, there's no way I'm going back into this like, right now.
Yeah.
So now it becomes this thing that is in between where both of you know, because you've already communicated like what you're feeling. I'm like, I'm not ready to pursue a new relationship, unfortunately. And then the person is like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, I understand. But then at the same time, you don't want to stop seeing each other, so it becomes this wave of whatever.
Leading each other
on. But I'd say to some extent, okay, like I've seen comments on my TikTok, I was like, yeah, stay away from it. The healthy thing is to not bring people into it. And I think I agree with that. Like you shouldn't bring someone into a state of uncertainty and when you're not healed, because it's selfish to some extent. But the thing with life is that it's not black and white, and that's something that I learned through this whole process. That sometimes we think this is the ideal way things are supposed to be, but in real life, that's not how it's supposed to, like, that's not what happens. So you find yourself like you'll have feelings for this person, you really care about them, but at the same time you can't be with them. But then even them, they choose to be there. They're like, it's okay, I can stay for whatever this thing is. And controversial to say, but I feel like some things serve certain purposes. So maybe that thing's purpose was not to last forever, but it was meant to just be for that time. Especially if both of you have decided to be there. Yeah, it's very toxic. I'm not advocating for it. I'm sorry. In fact, like, stay away from it.
I'm with you, like it serves a purpose. Because you, again, I don't like the way we approach life as if we are supposed to know what's right and what's wrong. And I feel every right serves a purpose, every wrong serves a purpose as well. Either ways. But anyways, let me walk you back to something important, because when you are walking out of marriage, it's because you've been in a marriage, right? What happens to the vows, for better, for worse, till death do us part, right? When you are saying them at that particular moment, did you know what you were saying?
For me, like those words were very serious, and like I took them to heart. And maybe that's even what haunts me, or rather haunted me later, because I was like, yeah, I made a vow. Like I was like, for better or for worse, and all these things. But then again, as I said, life teaches you that you think one way, but then life takes you to another direction that you did not expect. And also, if you're both not on the same page, in as much as you do want to, for better, for worse, or for whatever, if the other person or whoever you're with, or both of you are not in tune or in the same page to fulfill those vows, then there's nothing you can do. You can't force anyone to do anything. That's something also that I really learned, to not listen. To listen to people's actions and to listen to what people are saying, because you don't want to live an unfulfilled life because you're trying to constantly justify your worth to anyone in your life. Because if they don't want to be there, then it's okay. It just means that that's where the journey needed to end, and the story ends there. So maybe now go start a new story. But but I did, like I knew what I was saying when I was standing there.
All right. Is it something you would be okay saying again to a different person?
Hey.
See, now Lisa too, like, because they are very deep words, you know.
Yeah, especially now that I understand.
Now that you understand
what it means.
Yes.
Because I've experienced it. I think, like, I've thought about it, and I'm like, I know if I say those words, I'd mean them. My only fear would be this other person has not experienced what it entails. So they'll just be saying it because either marriage has been romanticized, or they think they have this worldview of what marriage is going to look like. So for them, they'll just say it. I do. Let's run into the flowers, whatever. But in true sense, like, I understand the gravity of those words. So I think my problem would be I'd be skeptical about
the
if
other
they
person.
know what they're saying. Yeah.
All right. You can always walk them through the journey. But one of the things I'm learning even as I do these shows is that people might not understand the difference between a marriage and a wedding.
True.
You know, people might not actually understand.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people have set weddings as milestones in their lives. So like you want to get married and you want to have this event and whatever, but you really don't sit down to think, what does it entail afterwards? Like, what are the inner workings of this thing that you're trying to get into? And yeah, so I've even seen on TikTok a lot nowadays, and it's so heartbreaking at the same time. And maybe to some weird extent, I'm like, going. Yeah, because I saw guys like the Ace family.
Yes.
I used to follow them on
That
YouTube.
was sad.
I was like, you guys, you looked so okay.
Yeah.
Then I saw there's this other Muslim couple recently.
That was true.
I was like,
God.
So eventually you start seeing, and even the reasons that they give, maybe because I know a lot of people are very private about what really happened, but you can tell like that just like it didn't work. And then people are not understanding, what do you mean it didn't work? Yeah, actually, we're not on the same page, blah, blah, blah. But that's something like the inner workings of marriage. It's so hard to fathom when you've not experienced it. So, yeah, that's why I'd be very cautious to do that again.
And one of the things I've noticed even previously, when you talk, you said, you talk and give the story on your own account as you. A lot of times people are bitter. So we broke up, but I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna say shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna go out there and I'm gonna say all these things about you, and then this person will also go and say all these bad things about you. Where did you draw the line, regardless of who hurt who felt hurt? Where did you draw the line that I'm never going to put you out this way?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, we had a really good friendship. So that was our basis. I think that's even what clouded everything and made us feel like we could propel it to that how long we did. But generally I don't think I'm a bitter. I don't I let things go easily, and also I can't discount the fact that it wasn't all bad. Actually, it was really good. It wasn't me that it wasn't working to some extent. I know it sounds weird. Even my mom is always like, what do you mean?
It's not.
What do you mean? Because then they think it has to be either there was violence. Did you beat her? I'm like, really? That's not how you raised me. Did you cheat? I'm like, no, never. But it just didn't work. So, but there were good times, and that's why I respect her. And she was there for me when, if I dated anyone at that time, based on how my life was, they'd have easily just ran away so fast. But she was there, when I was in a small SQ with, I think it was just, I started with a mattress and whatever, and then got a bed there. She used to come visit. She saw me starting the photography journey and, getting to where we were at that time, and going through all these things there. So, I wouldn't discount the value and the good times that we had, and that's why I think I'm very respectful of the fact that she has her own life, and if she wanted to give the story from her perspective, then it's okay.
That would be okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't slander or
She's an amazing person. How does it feel like when you see someone you shared a home with also move on with a different person?
It will quite so much long. Okay, no, I'm joking. But as I mentioned, we met each other at events, and I saw her with a person. Of course, the first time was very heartbreaking. Of course, because you're like, wow, just like that. But I think you come to this realization that you wanted her to get the best for her life. And this is the best for her. And this is what, the best looks like. And I support her journey to, not even support, I'm okay with her pursuing her life and everything. And then now it's up to me to also do the same for myself, to now figure out what's best for me. And our journeys will never be the same because we're very different individuals. So I think the biggest thing was to not compare my progress
With
to maybe hers, because that would be the pitfall. And just focus on my life and be like trying to see what will work for me eventually.
yeah. How do you deal with the emotions? Because I feel like in life, either one person moves on real quick, the other person takes time, or vis-a-vis, but there are always emotions in between. How do you process those emotions of knowing hakuna another chance of ever making this work? Because you gotta respect that they've chosen to be with someone else.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, like when I make a decision, I stand by it. So like you won't see me trying to linger or immediately after then try to text her. I'll be like, hey, did you remember those moments? Did you what? No, that could never be me. So when I make a decision to move, I move, and during those very heightened emotions times, I try to. I've seen therapists. Yeah, I've done a couple of sessions, but I also I have a lot of self-reflection moments, and I always ask myself, the biggest question I ask myself is always why. So when I'm having a trail of thought, I'll be like, why are you feeling like this? Then when I answer that one, I'll be like, why, until I get to the root cause of it. And that helps to balance everything. And I'm like, even if I feel bad, like, do I want this thing back? Do I want to pursue this? No. So then why would you still hold on to it if that's not the path?
Yeah.
And also, as I mentioned, like, I'm in a path of bettering myself, and now I understand a lot of things, so I'm not even in a rush or to compare or to try match or get to like compete with someone. So
Let's talk about men and therapy. You've mentioned, you know, you've gone for a couple of sessions. From what therapy is said to be, and men and their emotions, how easy was it for you to acknowledge, I gotta sit with someone?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of so most of my close friends are female. So even after the whole breakup situation, I think the conversation was always like, you need to see someone. You need to go see a therapist. Don't wait. Don't. Like, a lot of people like I've met, even in my journey, they're always constantly asking, did you go for therapy? And for me, it was a foreign concept, but because I'd already explored it even during marriage, I wasn't like negated to it. So, but I remember that it was so funny. The first time I was like, I went to the to the session. I found napkins like this here on the table, because I realized my way of coping with weird situations is to use jokes or make humor. So I was like, So these are the serviettes that people used to cry here. Like, what Julia? And then like a couple, I think like 30 minutes later, I was the one who was there using them. But I can say for a fact, like, it actually does help talking to a stranger who won't judge you, and they don't give you advice. They just let you process, which is very good to just entangle your mind.
When your friends were telling you gotta talk to someone, were you ready? Because sometimes I try to draw the line between, this person needs therapy, but are we really pushing this person too much towards therapy? Can we let them come to that conclusion by themselves? Because
I think if I was left to myself, I wouldn't have done it, honestly. Because again, like, growing up as an only child, or like being alone most of the times, I always think I can handle everything by myself. So, but I think those nudges are what constantly, like, in my mind, like, I knew I have to do this thing that I was told to do. And I know these guys really love me and they care for me, so they're not doing it out of malice or anything. They're just like, you need to get better. And as I say, like, I like seeing progression in life. So if therapy is what is going to help me progress, then I'm going to do it.
We're going to do it. Let's talk about your dad a little, in the concept of when a man goes into marriage. This man, I was reading something by, I think, earlier, but this was on schools, you know, where you have female teachers interacting with, trying to mold men, and then these men, they end up, you know, getting these old characters of female nature. So everyone needs to actually have a male figure in their life. Every man has to have a male figure, a strong male figure in your life. So you're growing up, dad of course is absent. Mom, again, I have massive respect to your mom. She's trying to do everything to fill in the gaps and say, I have a son to take care of, go to uni, take good care of you and of herself. She even went back to school herself, you know. So do you feel not having a male figure in your life contributed to how your marriage turned out? And if had there been a male figure, do you think things would have been different? And when you're facing these things in your marriage as a man, who are you going to talk to?
Actually, yeah, so I grew up with my mom, but I had an uncle who I think got really tight with my mom. So he used to come every time to the house. He's the one who would like take me for things, even like the big ceremony that guys go for. He's the one who took me. Like he was always constantly there. So like I knew, like I'd say I had a father figure to some extent. And he was like this macho guy. So in my head I was like, this is what I want to be. Like yeah, like I'd hurt myself on the table, like I'd hit the table and then I'd start crying, then it'd be like and I'm like yeah, so he was definitely a great influence. But I can see what you're saying. And then eventually now my mom got married, and then now I have my dad now, who's also like shaped a lot of things, because I used to be afraid, like, when will I learn how to drive? When will I do all this? And like these basic things that guys are supposed to know how to do. Like I didn't know where I'd get that kind of knowledge. But eventually now I got this kind of influence as well. I've seen them together for all these years since that time. So I guess like there was always moments of a father figure. I even used to call my uncle dad for the longest time. So I wouldn't say I really felt a gap to that extent. But I'd also say that being raised primarily by my mom influenced a lot of things later, because it gave me perspective in terms of how my relationship with women. So I definitely say that there's a bit more respect to women and how I interact with the women in my life, drawing the lines, boundaries, friendships, because I know that's something weird. I was even talking about it yesterday on my stories, because a lot of times when I post, like you'll see me with, every time I go to an event, maybe primarily because of my audience is mostly female, so I'll get a lot of endorsements that are female oriented. So I'll go to an event and you're just seeing babes. And then I'm taking pictures with them. Then everyone is always like, ni huyu. Ni huyu. I'm like, I can just be friends with them. I don't need to have anything with them. And I think this was informed also by that kind of upbringing. But in terms of marriage, I don't know. I feel like, actually my mom's and my mom and my dad's marriage is what really fueled the resilience and the need for me to be like him, because he provides, he does all these things, like he's always coming through. So I was always trying to be like him. But I guess, you can only do too much.
Let's talk about the things you know better right now, because again, you are entering marriage with Liet calls it the masculine frame. You are a man on a purpose. You want to provide. You want to do all this, right? You're at 25. Do you think your priorities were to provide or to better yourself as a man?
Honestly, like if you ask me right now, and I'm not talking to the person who's here, indirectly.
Edwin!
Edwin, who's 21.
Yes!
But I'd say, honestly, I had no business getting married at that time. And I'm not regretting it, because I think everything happens for a purpose, and I wouldn't be here right now, even with you, if that whole thing didn't happen. But honestly, I feel like that's the time you really like need to build yourself as a man, because imagine pouring water into, I think you mentioned gunia.
Yes.
In this matatu, yeah. So imagine pouring water into the gunia and then it's just trickling out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a way to hold that water in, at the end of it, like, you won't have much to go by. And this is not, I always say, like, when I talk about these things, because I know a lot of people want to counter,
Yes.
I always say this is my personal experience, and I'm not talking, it's not a blanket statement that it works for everyone. Everyone has a different journey. But personally, I'd say that at 25 and during that time, like, just focus on building yourself, experiment, do different careers, like, work hard, like, do all these things.
Gain new skills.
Because you haven't even developed yet. Because I sit down right now and I think about how I was thinking before, and I was like, and I'm always like,
Nafanya.
what are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, I even think the last conversation we had, even with my ex-partner, like, way back, we were just laughing at how dumb some situations were.
Yeah.
That now when you think about it as an adult, like a grown human being, like, you're like, oh my God, like, what was I thinking? Yeah, so I definitely think that's a moment to just work on yourself and experiment. And people won't listen, but it's okay. I always say, like, you go try.
Come out and tell us about
come
it.
Tell us,
Yes. Come and tell. What do you know better right now?
I think
what do you wish you had known, even been there?
Yeah, in terms of emotions and that kind of thing, I'd say not to force things. That's one of my biggest lessons. I think I was humbled, for real. I was humbled because I had this path. I'd already, like, put dates to what is supposed to happen at what time. But I learned that you need to let go. That was the biggest thing. Like, never force anything. Like, whatever is yours will come to you. And the other thing is, do not listen to words. Listen to actions. Yeah, so that has been huge. And it's even a lesson even in terms of situationships, because I always tell my friends, but I did not promise anything to this person.
Why
like, I did tell them. And then they're like, you're the problem. I'm like, how am I the problem? Then I'm like, they're like, it's because, like, you say things with your mouth, like you've clearly said, you're not ready to be in a relationship.
But
the things you're doing,
show you are ready to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You're opening doors.
That's standard. Yeah, even for my mom.
Okay.
But yeah, so listening to actions more than listening to words. Actions is where the truth is.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is, just do not compete with anyone. Like, everyone is on a different journey. You're not late for anything. You're not early for anything. You're just having your own human experience. So do not, like, try to benchmark yourself using other people. And then the other thing is, anything is possible. Like, regardless of whatever background or situation or whatever has happened to you, what labels you've acquired, divorcee, whatever, all those things.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. You can actually turn dust to gold. Yeah. So, and that's what I've seen recently. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about pressure, because one of the things I think your mom said was, you told her, Mom, I'm bringing you a girl, and she was so ready for a girl, and then you pulled up in your new car and you're like, Mom, this is the girl I'm talking about. Right? She was so disappointed. Do you feel pressure now that people know you are from one marriage, already in your 30s? Now it's time for you to settle down again. So do you feel like some sort of pressure from family to do this one more time?
Yeah, I wouldn't lie. We have those kinds of conversations. Like, it's not, and I know, like, she does it from a good place. So I understand her, because obviously, like, her being an only child, and then now there's this son that you have. Okay, now I have siblings, and I think my sister has 2 kids. So I'm always like, thank God,
at least
I'm to save. But it's like constant pressure. Like, she'll make some remarks, which I know, like, they're not even harmful. I feel like they're also keeping me on my toes to remember that time is actually moving. And if you need to heal, you need to do all the things that you need to do to get there.
Yeah.
But those 2 moments that ati uchapata mtu ati nikutafutie sitaki kutafutiwa.
I think on to show my mom is she's like, hata ulete mimi nitalea. In my mind I'm like, mom, nitakufanyia hivi kama wamefuatana. You say
It's so funny that they don't even care about marriage anymore. It gets to a point
they
where it's
want
like
to shows
you just get like children.
And then I'm like, yeah, you said what you said, nitawaleta hapo.
Yeah.
Nitalea, yeah.
Yeah, but I really try not to like, but I've had conversations with her.
Yeah.
And I've explained to her. And she also understands. She's like, also like, I'd want you to make the best decision this time round. Like, do not rush, but also rush. But but yeah, but it's definitely pressure, even from friends. Not from them talking or saying it loud, but looking at their lives. So like our friends group right now, like people are getting married. Now this one they're getting married. Minilishan, of course,
Yeah.
Guys are getting pregnant. You're like, hey. And then now you're the single guy in the group who's always like, Siju, at what party is Siju? So I always tell them, I'm here to entertain you guys. Yeah, you have your serious lives. This is my moment right now. Let me leave out my, because I wasn't doing this when you guys
were doing it. Let me do it.
So let me do it right now.
And I think one of the things we don't talk about is also how this affects our parents, because I mean, both sides of the family, they were heavily invested in this. There are things that come in before the marriage, the rorashios, the kuhada, whatever, all these customs that people do before the marriage, and then they see you guys to the end of, yes, I do. I don't think we ever talk about how this affects them later on. Does mom talk about it?
No, I haven't. I think her, she doesn't hide emotions. Like when she's feeling like super heavy or like a wave of emotion, like she'll show it.
Yes.
So I remember like, because even how it came out was not in the standard way, like in how I'd wanted it to be. Because my idea would have been to have a meeting and be like, this is what is happening, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, social media being what it is, because we had gone silent for like 7 months, we hadn't told anyone that we had separated in 2020. And then, so the problem was, I thought I was ready to see someone else, but I wasn't ready. So when that broke off, the news just went out without my control. Like everyone was like, oh my God, he's cheating. Oh my God, we saw him with this person. I'm like, yo, I've been separated for like 7 months. Like we don't even live together. Yeah, together. Like we've agreed that she even knows who I'm seeing. Like I've mentioned it to her. So by the time now the news was getting to my parents, it was through screenshots.
Damn.
So yeah, I remember her calling me. She's like, Victor, sisikize hawa watu ati wanakuwekelea sijui nini ati sijui God is on your side. I was like,
Mom thought they photoshopped you.
Actually ni ukweli.
Our parents.
I was like, ni ukweli wewe, tuko na meeting kesho. So that's when I was like, so I explained, this is what happened. And then that's when I saw the real raw emotions are coming out, and I could see the wave of disappointment. And I think that was one of the most heartbreaking moments in my life. So I was like, wow, I disappointed you so much.
Why did you keep it? Why did you keep it away from her though for so many months?
I think there's this thing when you go in married, you go for what do you call it, premarital counseling and all these things, and they tell you there's this one thing that they tell you that you should do in marriage, leaving and cleaving, and that your issues should first be dealt within you. You do not need to involve parents because parents take sides. So it will polarize everything. So just deal with whatever you're doing. And then eventually, if it gets too bad, then now you can tell them. So that's the idea we had. We're like, we don't know what's happening here. We are separating. We don't know if you're going to get back together or not. So let's not involve people until we're very clear mentally that this is where we want to. I mean, I was hopeful at that time that we'd get back together, and we did for a couple of months, but then it didn't work out. But so I guess that's why we chose to just take time before telling anyone about it. You know. But it ended up being the worst decision ever.
I think I'm telling my mom after 2 minutes. Either she go find out, I'll be like, Mom, Nivo, you know, after 2 minutes, I'm doing it honestly.
Because what I've learned is like you'd rather control your you'd rather control your story
than have other people control
because
it for you.
People have imagination, and it's beautiful. Like they'll create stories for you, and
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about that social media, the pressures, because you know your life is out there. You guys, you are doing a lot of videos also together, you know, and then it comes crashing. What did it take at all on you? And also, how do you deal with scandals? Because I believe there's been just one about you.
Yeah, it's just that one time.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that one?
And I think I have.
Yes, that you know you.
Yeah, like I've explained what happened.
You abandoned someone, you have a child you don't take care of, and things like that.
Huh? I say I abandoned someone.
Hey, wewe. Kwani hizi scandal zako?
I have a child
with somebody and all these things.
Actually, trust me, if I had a child, hey, everyone would know. Like I'd be with him right now.
Kangekuwa hapo.
No, but I saw that's something like people wild out, especially when you don't give clarity in terms of the situation.
Yeah.
But in terms of social media, I feel like I'd not had anything to that magnitude before. I was not even like I was always at the back of the camera.
Yeah.
No one cared about what I was doing other than the work I was presenting as a photographer. So that was huge. That day, I think my life stopped for like a week. Even my boss at work, my bosses are calling me. They're like, "Are you okay? Do you need to take some time off?" I'm like, "Huh?" Like I didn't even want to talk to anyone. I couldn't work. Like I had not experienced anything like that before. So,
I know what you're talking about.
My life was just like way. Yeah, but then after that now is when I think I got the maturity to understand that I'm the one who chose to put my life out here. So these are the repercussions that come with it. And so nowadays I'm not really worried about that. But I'm also very wise to know what I need to put out and what I don't need to put out. I also appreciate it as a way of accountability. Because the people who follow me always keep me accountable, and we've become some sort of family.
Yes, that you have.
Yeah, so like if I do something, like I know for sure I'm not just letting myself down or my family down. It's also these guys who've really trusted me all this time. So nowadays I'm not, obviously like living a true life. Of course, you'll mess up once or twice.
Which is
a couple of times, which is okay. And everyone should understand people. We are also human, and you do things sometimes with the best intentions, but they end up being bad. But it's life. It happens. So
yes.
You're
just flowing with it. Yeah. Is your marriage or relationship though something you would put in public again?
No. Not to that extent. I know like there's a fine line between being toxic or you're hiding someone.
Yes.
So that you can look like you're single. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't center my life around that person. So it wouldn't be like me, her, everyone here. No.
Yeah.
It's like you have your life, let me have my life. From time to time, like people will know that we're together, but that's not the focus of
my life.
Yeah.
Do you think people lose their identities in marriage?
Yeah.
Did you lose yours?
Completely. Like I didn't even, like when I came out, I was like, I didn't even know who I was anymore. Yeah, so I had to discover myself again. And it's because, I'm not saying it from a bad point, but it's because each person is trying to fit into this other person's life. So you really change a lot of things in your life to fit the bill. So by the time you're getting out, you're like, I don't even like this, I don't like this, I didn't even enjoy that. I actually love this better than this thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a whole journey of self-discovery afterwards.
May I advocate for you guys, keep doing what each other
like,
do what you love, I do what I love.
Exactly, yeah.
Like I don't want to be in a place where you're me, I'm you. Like we can completely be okay with you doing what you love and I do what I love.
And I can support you, and you can support me, but you don't need to be like completely engrossed in my life.
Yeah. Powerful. But you are one of the most amazing photographers we have in the country.
Gosh.
Yes. Hata ndio nilikuwa nashindwa. How do you let go of what people, like now for example, if today I say I won't do YouTube anymore, this is not like that, you know.
Oh God.
There are people who know me for this.
Yeah.
But then am I thinking of doing other things? Absolutely. Am I thinking of exploring other gifts that I know I have?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But people will always say, Lynn, you had an amazing, if it's amazing, an amazing YouTube channel. So you can imagine the shock when I wake up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. For you, what made you want to kind of give up on doing photography?
I think I was angry. I was so angry. It reminded me of everything that had not worked out in my life.
Oh.
So like, cause this whole time, like I tried to do all these things, and my marriage and my photography were happened at the same time, almost.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, this thing that really gave me all this pain, had this connotation, I mean, in association with my photography and all these things. So, and also I feel like the journey ended because I was really, as I mentioned, I came into photography at a time where there was, like, I think we were like 7 photographers in the country. And like what we used to make at that time is not what people are making right now.
It was pure art.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like you'd get crazy amounts even for doing billboards and all those things. But then I could see how even being in marriage, trying to sustain the marriage based on just photography, like it really stretched me. So it became, I lost the passion for the art and I became angry at it because you're not getting me to where I want to get. Yeah, so, but I evolved. So I always say pivot. So when you see something is not working, don't hold on to it because you might be holding on to something, but something bigger is meant to come, to be placed in your hands, but you are just clenching your fists to hold this something really small. And immediately I let it go. I found myself in front of the camera, which is something I'd never done before.
And it's really beautiful for you also.
And now
it's
like
beautiful also.
Content creation for the past, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And it has been amazing, yeah. So
do you miss the lens? Do you miss?
No.
Oh,
I was like, kwanza say inapatia
That
PTSD.
That
Yeah,
breaks.
inaniangalia.
For
Like toy
real?
okay.
For real?
I know I'm like I know, but it's, like I do still create because even like in all the projects that I'm doing, even the content I create, most times I'll walk through the idea and then I have a great team right now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nick. So like whenever I talk to him, I don't talk to him from a point of
Shout out,
ignorance. Yeah. Oh, yeah. On you call.
Yeah.
Now I'm shout out to. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to him from a point of ignorance. When I give him an idea, I know what's executable. I know the color grade I want. I know the like.
Yeah.
So we really like easily work together because I understand these things. So I don't feel like I really left it. I've just evolved to a different form of art.
No, it was amazing.
Thank you.
I won't force you to go, but it's just like, you know, when sometimes when you see a beautiful gift, you just have to appreciate it. It was a beautiful gift.
Don't quit YouTube.
And that I can't promise though.
It's soft.
That I can't promise though, but I know even if I do,
Yeah.
there'll be something better.
Maybe
Maybe not
something
bigger, but something that makes me happy too, because this makes me happy. For what makes me happy.
Yeah. And even like when I say bigger, even mean like more fulfilled.
Beautiful.
Like you'll be at peace.
Yes, a lot of peace. I always imagine myself in a farmhouse.
Oh yeah?
Doing
Me too.
For real?
Like uko mbali.
Uko mbali sana.
Yeah,
So,
maybe a horse hivi.
there
Maybe
you
a horse
go.
or two.
Yes. We, service ya horse. Kukuweka horse ni
Nilisikia,
kazi.
hey.
You do the maths and you are like, aya, acha
Acha
nipeleke
hizi
mtoto
zenye
Bruka.
naonanga town.
No.
Hizi konda.
Hey, umedhaniza ndio rahisi, my friend. Hizi
Zinakulanga
hizo
kila
ni
kitu.
camel.
Zinakulanga
Unaona.
smoky pasua. Zinakula kila kitu.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's working for you, content creation.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you feel good when you see people connecting with you that way? What I love about your fan base, it's like you guys are on a growth, you're on a journey together, you know. Do you feel nice?
Yeah.
Also, do you feel nice talking about things that many people were scared of talking about, and seeing many men on the comment section also telling you, I've gone through this and thanks, this has really helped me out. And how does the future look like for you in terms of content creation? Okay,
I think in terms of the audience that I have, I call them my family.
Yeah.
I think the connection was because like in 2021 was in a deep dark hole with nothing going on for me. These are the guys I used to talk to because I couldn't talk to my friends. I couldn't tell them about the separation because you had said you're not telling anyone for 7 months.
Yeah.
So these are the only people I used to interact with, and seeing that energy growing. Even it's so funny that up until this point, I even know people by name. Like if I went out and someone came and told me, so and so, I can remember them from my comments.
Yes.
Like it's become so close knit, and even in times like even during the scandal or whatever that period, no one ever brought it up on my platform or even on my DM. Like everyone was so respectful, and I think I love the energy that we have, and I think that's what fuels even what I normally do. I try to be as authentic as I can to them, and to share my experiences from a point of how can I help you either avoid some things or what can I learn from you guys as well. So it's just like a small family trying to figure out our place in this industry. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think content creators take their fan base seriously? Because I think you said something that resonated when you when things lipukad, you did not see anyone in your fan. I remember there's a day I woke up trending. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, what is this now? Like, what is this? You know, what the actual?
I know that heart attack.
What is, you know? And I remember because I think I got the news, and then we had a video at 10, and I was expecting the whole comment section will be drama and drama and drama.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, I went to the comment section. I'm like, kwani watu wangu mjafikiwa
I'm
na
John
hizi
news. Like
but
what's
I know
going
they
on?
did, you know.
Yeah.
But I know they. For me, that I don't know, and also knowing your fans by name, they are our fans here. I always remember by name.
Yeah.
Like I see Wanjiru, I see, you know, Kaswiti, I see Jedi Moon, I see all these people, I see Bella, and they all make me happy. It's like Nisa any family. Like unawajua but wajui. But do you think we take our fan base seriously?
No, personally I do. Like even yesterday I was shopping at Carrefour.
Yeah.
And this lady just walked up at the aisle and was like, hey, Victor. Then I was like, hey. And she said, I think she mentioned her name. And then she was like, we met again last week, sijui where, at sijui what store. Then I was like, that was you. And then now we had a conversation. Then she even
that
followed.
Was you, na maybe God anakutumia sign. So una meet tu.
Haikuwa sign.
Okay. It's right there.
No, it's because you get these situations a lot. Like if you go for events, like of course you meet people like who are like, I watch your content, and so like that happens a lot. But yeah, so I do take them really seriously, and I don't take it for granted because I know for sure, for a fact, that that's the fuel to whatever I'm doing as a content creator. It's not even the clients, it's not the brands that I work with. That's actually the consequence of this relationship we have with these people. Yeah, so
beautiful. What do you want to tell them?
Oh, Karanja, KJ, you know, like you guys. For life. We're growing together.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
I want to
so much.
wind up, but before I do, is there anything that you think we should have talked about that we did not touch on? Feel free.
No, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, like we could talk about my shoes.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. But I feel like really covered a lot of things that are very important, and sometimes the beauty of wisdom is in the brevity of words.
Yes.
Yeah, so
true story.
Yeah.
A lot of men are obviously going to watch this, and some of them are in your situation, so they're just in your situation, or some of them are coming out of what you had been through. What do you want to tell them?
I think so what I'd say is it's not weakness to, first of all, to go see a therapist. You're not a failure. For sure, like you're not a failure, you've not failed in life. You can always pick yourself up and reinvent yourself.
And time heals.
That's a big one. Yeah. So eventually, like, you'll feel bad. Also, yeah, like don't fight the emotions, because that's what a lot of people do, especially men. Like when you feel that emotion, you're like, either you go drink or you do whatever. But what I'd say is just go through the emotion and let it flow.
Let it flow.
When you feel bad, feel bad. Don't
flow.
fight it. Let it flow.
Skola ataruka kwa dirisha.
Yenye shapasuka juu ya kuimba.
They think I don't have a talent here. They just look at me. Ile squad on a stage. Hey, when they see me.
Haters, yeah.
Kwanza Muga thinks is the rapper here. Sijui whatever, but ile squad on a stage. But anyways, it's been amazing having this conversation with you. I believe fun over fun, which has been really great to finally meet you. It's an honor. And I'm sending you so much love, grace. I hope really your life turns out to be absolutely beautiful. It's already beautiful as it is, and you're teaching us to live in the moment. Honestly, hatujui kesho.
You never know.
Hatujui kesho. So teaching us how to live in our moments, appreciate our emotions, not hide things, because it is what it is, but also grow. You know, in the midst of it all, I always say, have we grown? If not, can we grow?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
This has been amazing.
Good. Yeah, I hope I see you again someday on a different conversation. I hope you can be able to have this conversation with more men on your own platform. Guys, subscribe, by the way, to his channel. It's very good when we create space where people who have experienced something are able to have this conversation with people who are experiencing it.
True.
And there's no better day than today. So go start. Now, don't give up on photography, though. Thank you. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope, honestly, you've learned a thing or two. And you know what we do here on the platform. On the comment section, let me know. But there we have our notebooks, we have our pens. So they are showing on your screen right now. Take your notes. Order if you can. Nasemanga hakuna pressure. Najua economy venye imetukalia saa hii, but it's all good. Things get better and we have to be able to keep a positive mindset. So on the comment section, let me know what your take home is, and also our beautiful partners at Kings Developers Limited, Maridadi Motors. We appreciate you guys. Check them out or refer to the things I said about these beautiful people at the beginning of the episode. Their details are also pinned on the comment section, and also we'll be pinning Victor's YouTube link to the comment section. So check him out, subscribe, and ako sawa sana TikTok. So follow him also, guys, on TikTok. Mjione mambo. But other than that, I know sometimes we feel like to go down, but as we've said, things get better in time. Asanteni sana to my team for putting this work together. I appreciate you, to you guys for watching and subscribing, and of course to me for hosting this show the best way I could. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m.